Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to Predatory Exotics. So today we're bringing you another one in the series of tank suggestions slash what to put in my spare tank. And today we're going to be talking about the 45-45-60. So I just wanted to let you know that this is actually going to be a part one. Before we actually get into this video, this one's going to be all about kind of the more generic and kind of basic stuff that you can put in here. And then part two is going to come out next Monday, and that's going to have a lot more crazier and wacky species that you might not know exist, and ones that you'll be able to keep in this 45-45-60. So with this one, there's not a lot of major new ones kind of being added to this selection, comparing it to the 45 cube. Basically, this just gives you that extra 15 on top, and then it kind of allows you to reach out into more of the larger arboreal geckos, and just kind of give you more space for some more of the arboreal stuff. So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. So today isn't going to be too long of one, because basically everything that we talked about in the 45, some of them we're going to re-mention, you can put in here. And so we're going to kind of focus on more of the ones that we haven't really mentioned, but we will be going over some that kind of now can go into colonies, and you can get more than one, or you know, have a small group of them which you can put in this 45-45-60. So starting off with some of the ones we've actually mentioned, stuff like some of the frogs that we mentioned, like the red-eyed tree frogs, you can get up to about 3 probably in here, which would be nice. You have a small little group, and having those multiple tree frogs, you might actually be able to look into getting multiple morphs, which is something that we're looking into. So if we got 3 in here, you could have one of the normal, an albino, and a melanistic, which would look super cool, because look how cool these guys actually look. Now, obviously, if you're not interested in the red-eye tree frogs, you could also go with something like the white tree frogs. These guys are awesome, super cool to watch. We would love to get them in the future here at Predatory Exotics. We've seen them in a few stores that we've gone to, but they are also a super awesome addition, and you could get a nice pair in here and happily watch them live their lives. Another one that we actually did mention that we could keep in the 45, but once it grew up, you might need to look into investing in a big one, is the crested gecko. This is what we currently keep in this tank here. Pip, our crested harlequin gecko, is in this tank because once they get quite large, you're going to need a 45-45-60 as kind of like the bare minimum. And then if you're wanting multiple, then you're going to have to up your size in tank. But for this, housing one crested gecko in here is perfect, and that's what we currently use it for. Now, a lot of this list is going to be larger arboreal geckos, so let's move on with a couple of those. Next up, giant day geckos, another awesome species. I know we've talked about the smaller day geckos that you can get, but this one you could actually get the larger species in here as well, which would be awesome. This personally is one of my favorite types of geckos, and especially that they come in like kind of the larger and the smaller variations. I think this would be another awesome addition to this tank. Another awesome gecko species would be the lined gecko. This one, to me, looks super cool with that line pattern going down their back. That would also be an awesome choice to go in here. And like we have mentioned before, obviously the gargoyle geckos as well would be an awesome fit for this vivarium. Next up is a tokay gecko. This is quite a large species of arboreal gecko, which is an awesome one. Definitely one that we want to get here at Predatory Exotics. And this would be a perfect fit for this size tank. They can get quite large, so you're going to need this space. And of course, with all sorts of arboreal geckos, you're going to need the height. Speaking of the tokay, it might get quite large, so you might have to upgrade it in the future because they can get quite big. But you can get stuff such as some of the baby species of like the water dragon or the basilisk, which would live in here nicely until they grow up, and then you're going to need to upgrade their viv. But until then, that would also be a nice place to house them temporarily, because there's quite a few things in some of the larger tanks that can temporarily be housed in here, which would be an awesome kind of transition tank. Some of the other species, such as the pygmy chameleons, would be a cool addition to this tank. They look super cool. They are really fragile, and you would need to do a lot of research into this kind of species of chameleon, because they are quite delicate in a lot of ways, but they would live happily in here and would be an awesome addition to this one. Now, a species that we haven't actually mentioned before on this one, which would live in here very nicely, and you can keep a couple to maybe 3, would be the green anole. These guys are awesome. As you can see in some of these pictures, they are super cool to watch, and I think that would be a great addition. You could also look into keeping a nice pair of golden geckos in here, which would be an awesome addition. You should be able to get a pair in here, which would be nice. They are super cool, and they look awesome as well. So another awesome addition for you guys to maybe suggest Now, if you were looking to keep some kind of a kind of semi-arboreal snake in this kind of vivarium, you're going to want to upgrade it once they start to grow. But if you're getting it at a younger age, the green tree python would be an awesome fit for this kind of vivarium. They will get quite large eventually and you will need to upgrade, so you need to keep that in mind. But for the time being, as a baby, they would live happily in here. And speaking of invertebrates, now this is also a great space that you can keep a large colony of some of the stick insects. But one of the ones personally that I think would be an awesome addition in this size tank, and that is the tailless whip scorpion. Now, of course, the tailless whip scorpion comes in a few variations. There are a lot of different species of the tailless whip scorpion, but one of them, this one right here, is the biggest one out of all of them, which is one that I personally want to get. It's quite hard to find here. I've been looking around, especially, I don't know, in the southeast of England. We can't really seem to find any. But you would need to house them in this kind of size tank because, as you can see, they can get very large, size of your palm, but they would happily live in here and this would be a great space for them. So I hope you have enjoyed part 1 of this video. Don't forget that part 2 will be coming out next week, so don't forget to watch that when it comes out, but I hope you guys have enjoyed. So that's just a couple of the things that you can kind of get in here, guys. I knew this wasn't going to be that too long a video because basically everything you get in the 45, just putting them in here, you can maybe add an extra one so you have a pair. Or if something gets too large, like the crested gecko, you can move them into this one. This one, you're going to see us use like quite a few in the future. We've got definitely a few planned out for the 45, 45, 60. For instance, we have our crested gecko, obviously, and in the future there's a few things that we're looking to get, but I think this is an awesome vivarium, and you can do a lot with it. You've got lots of space in here to make something cool. As you can see, this one here, you can check out us actually setting up this one that we have right in front of me. If you go to this video just here, it is setting up our crested gecko enclosure, which is what we currently use it for. It's kind of the next step up is where you start to get larger and larger things. Some of the 90 size tanks, that's where your options like go through the roof pretty much on what you can actually keep. But this was just kind of one where it's kind of like, you can kind of see the difference here. This is the 45 just here, so there's not that much difference. It's just a bit more height. But it gives you that more space, you know, to house your crested gecko or your gargoyle gecko, and then maybe go from, instead of having, you know, 1 of something, go to 2 or 3 of something, just because you have that extra little height at the top. Now, of course, we'll definitely be looking into getting a couple more of these. We're not going to spoil kind of what we're actually planning on getting. We have a list of stuff that we're looking to get. And this is definitely another tank that you'll be seeing in the future. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know it wasn't too long, but we have lots of things in the works and lots of things planned for you, so we hope you are enjoying this series, and especially when we start moving up into some of the bigger tanks and we start talking about some of the larger and larger species of reptiles that you can actually keep. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. So don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more of this content that we are bringing for you guys. And don't forget to head over to our Instagram. The support on there has been crazy. Our followers are just going up and up on there, and we hope you guys are enjoying all of our behind the scenes content on there. But without further ado, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.